one-sided game. Hello and welcome to the League of Champions with me, Digvijay Singh here. We are just about half an hour away from the second semi-final of the ICC Champions Trophy 2017. Now, over the years, India have bossed an absolutely one-sided rivalry with Bangladesh. But of late, the Tigers have come of age. And as Saurav Ganguly said this morning, there are no more the minnows. Chris Harris, as always, is here with me, and he has been spot on when he has predicted that the favourites haven't had it going for them in this tournament. So Chris, Bangladesh, your favourites then for this game?
I'm not sure if they're my favourites, but they have been known before as the giant killers. They've got a very good side, and they've got players in their side who are world class, and on their day, as they did against New Zealand, have got the capabilities of beating this Indian side. So for me, Indian obviously have to go in as hot favourites, but if India are slightly off their game and don't get the starts they've been getting with the bat, and Bangladesh play their top game, then they're a chance of winning.
Yes, because India came in as defending champions. India came in to reach the final and win the trophy. For Bangladesh, the first target obviously was to somehow make it to the knockouts. They were lucky in that sense to get past that game against Australia. And that's what we're hearing from the Bangladesh team, that the pressure's not on them, the pressure's on India. And ultimately, when you look at how the teams stack up on paper, it's India's game to lose.
Yeah, the pressure's always on the hot favourite, and obviously India is the hot favourite in this side. But the way Bangladesh played in that game against New Zealand, I'm sure will have a few Indians very nervous. I mean, the key, a little bit like England. England were brilliant in the pre-round robin, batted well in all three games, and then had a bit of a meltdown with their batting, obviously in the semi-final. India have been a little bit the same. Their batting has been magnificent, and basically their batting's won virtually all the games except for that one little hiccup against Sri Lanka. So it's really key that the Indian batsmen fire again today, because if they don't fire, then they're going to give Bangladesh a good chance of winning this game.
Yes, let's set up that match then in more detail. Semi-final 2 of the ICC Champions Trophy 2017 is the one Indian fans have been waiting for. As we've been telling you, it's India versus Bangladesh to decide who meets Pakistan in the final on Sunday. Edgbaston in Birmingham plays host as defending champions India look set to make their second Champions Trophy final in a row and their fourth overall. Up against them is a spirited Bangladesh side playing its first ever semi-final at any ICC event. The Tigers edged World Cup 2015 finalists Australia and New Zealand en route to entering the knockouts, and they also beat India the last time the sides met in a bilateral series in Bangladesh.
Here we go, last ball to the offside, it's running through, could be run out! Is he run out? Or is he in?
A no contest of years has transformed itself into a mini rivalry with the coming of age of the Bangla Tigers.
Can you believe they've beaten Bangladesh by a run?
Position.
Goes for hero, bowled in, full and straight. The Bangladesh Tigers.
Such has been the emergence of Bangladesh as a cricketing force that they no longer harbour hopes of living in the shade of their big brothers, and the best in the world have taken notice of the prowess.
And that's what it means to them, they can't believe it.
They're in the top 8 sides in the world, so obviously they are playing really good cricket and they are doing a lot of things right to be in that position. And as I said, they have cricketers who are skilled, who are committed to play for Bangladesh and play with a lot of passion, and they're really keen to, win a lot of games at this level, and that shows in their attitude.
Victory from the jaws of defeat against 2015 World Cup finalist New Zealand was proof of that attitude. But in India, they faced the sternest examination yet of their credentials. The defending champions put in 2 performances as clinical as any, either side of an off game against Sri Lanka, to qualify for their 5th straight semi-final at any ICC event. And India's know-how of pressure situations and the experience of handling crunch scenarios is possibly second to none.
Yeah, we've been in these kind of games before quite a few times, but there are no guarantees in this sport. As we've seen in the league stages as well, a lot of teams have surprised the opposition, and we're certainly not taking anything for granted.
For Bangladesh, it might be the biggest stage they have ever been on, but this is now a unit which knows how to get results. That their wins are no longer looked upon as shocks is a sign of how far Bangladesh cricket has come, and since the 2015 World Cup, they have in fact won more matches against top 8 opposition than India.
Yes, I knew that in our day we can do anything, to be honest. But the things that, as I told, that we are the team that we are trying to improve ourselves a lot. What we are been, we're trying to play at our best in every matches. We don't know what's going to be the result, but once you can play at your best, you knew that you are going to play at your best. Now things can change.
Yes, hands in the air. It's gone through. What an innings, what a day for Bangladeshi cricket.
Exactly a decade ago, Bangladesh scripted one of the greatest upsets of all time as they sent the golden generation of Indian cricket packing in the group stage of the 2007 World Cup. 10 years later, can the Tigers roar their loudest roar yet? Or will the Indian juggernaut roll in to a record 4th Champions Trophy final?
Takes the catch on the boundary.
Sports Bureau, WION.
He's got another one, Jadeja.
Okay, the news from the middle is that India have won the toss and they have decided to bowl. Chris Harris, blustery conditions we just saw on the telecast. So, good option by Virat Kohli?
Yeah, I think so. I think it gives them a couple of opportunities. One, to knock Bangladesh over for a low score to make it easier for the batsmen. And if it doesn't quite go to plan, they know that their strength is in their batting at the moment, and I'm pretty sure they'll be confident to chase down anything. It looks as though it's pretty blustery there, so that may make it difficult for the Indian bowlers, but it also could assist with a little bit of swing, which may cause trouble for the Bangladesh batsmen. So it's no surprise to me that India have won the toss and elected to bowl first.
And it's interesting to look at this rivalry because, as I said at the beginning, India have absolutely bossed this. But of late, it's turned a bit ugly. You know, even in the build-up to this game, we've seen some photos doing the round on social media, rather, disparaging against India and rather insulting. And Bangladesh don't look at themselves as the small brothers in this case. India were always the big brothers, but not anymore, not after the 2015 World Cup. There's some history there.
Yeah, well, as I said, Bangladesh were always known as the giant killers. On their day, they were capable of beating most sides in the world, and I think they've much improved side, and now they're even more capable. If they play at their very best, in any given conditions, they give themselves a really good chance of winning. So look, India will be nervous. They are hot favourites, so that puts more pressure on India. I just hope Bangladesh come out with that carefree attitude that they had against New Zealand, because they have to play carefree and they have to be aggressive, and they've got to score a big total against India to give themselves a chance. So pressure off them, just come out and be carefree.
We're also hearing that both teams are unchanged, and one rather expected that because India seemed to have clicked all bases by getting Ashwin back. That means Hardik Pandya will have to bowl a full quarter of 10 overs. Bangladesh as well have gone with the same side. And is that a worry in that sense? Because Bangladesh, as you're talking about them getting a good start, apart from Tamim Iqbal, the other three openers who they've tried haven't been able to give him that support. They've managed, just about 67 runs so far in this tournament.
Yeah, apart from Tamim, the top order hasn't really fired, really. But in some ways that's good news, because if they do fire, they know they've got two fine middle order players in Shakib Al Hassan and Mahmudullah, who were magnificent against New Zealand. Both scored hundreds, so they're in terrific form. So if Bangladesh can get off to a great start and set a good platform for that middle order, as I said, they give themselves a good chance of scoring a big total here.
Why we're talking about Bangladesh in so much detail is I'm going to bring up some numbers on your screens, and these are numbers of matches played between India and Bangladesh, some exciting ones. Now, this was the match in the 2007 World Cup which perhaps gave Bangladesh that belief. Bangladesh beat India, India beat Bermuda, but then India lost to Sri Lanka and were out of that World Cup. Then India played Bangladesh again in the 2011 World Cup, and this was the game in which the opening game of the World Cup, Viru Sehwag absolutely tongued them all over the park. This is that game. India won by 87 runs there. But let's not forget, Bangladesh got 283 as well, chasing 370. And then the last two ones, the one-day matches in that series which they played, in which we saw Mustafizur Rahman come in the fizz, absolutely decimate India, because he got 13 wickets in that tournament. And this is the one which was contentious, because Bangladesh felt very undone by umpiring decisions that in that sense gave them that sense of hurt, and that's the hurt they've been carrying ever since.
Yeah, well, I think in ICC Champions Trophies and ICC matches, I think it's 2 apiece. So Bangladesh have got to use that as their confidence. As I said, the big advantage is for them, they're going in as underdogs, and as I said, if they can use that same approach they used against New Zealand, it gives them a good chance of posting. I think they've got to score at least sort of 280, 290, even hopefully if they play really well, that 300, that magical mark, which will really put pressure on the Indian batsmen.
Just looking at, Bangladesh as well, looking at the numbers against India in more detail, and, Mustafizur stands out because he's got those 13 wickets in this series, which we are seeing on our screens right now. But Mashrafe Mortaza, wily old hand against India, 20 wickets. I think Taskin has got 12, Shakib has got 17, Mustafizur has got 13 as well. So these bowlers know how to deliver against India, and I like the approach from them. They've decided to go in with 4 seamers. Yeah,
well, that's the good news. I mean, they've got to go on an attack, and they've got to look to get early wickets. And as you read out from those numbers, they've had success against India before, and this is a very high-pressure game, so those players all have to stand up. They've got to get early wickets to give themselves a chance.
We're also going to listen into Mashrafe Mortaza because he made an important point in the pre-match press conference about the approach of Bangladesh. So let's listen in to what Mashrafe Mortaza had to say before this game.
Against England was helping us a lot, that we go through the quarterfinals, and obviously we lost against New Zealand in New Zealand. The next match we played against New Zealand in World Cup, we scored in tough wicket we scored almost 300, 295. Still we lost, but that's things. Team was boosted up, and after that beating Pakistan and India and South Africa. Yes, it was been home, but no one expecting from us to beat those sort of team wherever we play.
No pressure on them, but for India, when you look at the way the Indians have batted in this tournament, and that's been their strength, and one man stands out. We're going to see some numbers of Shikhar Dhawan coming up on our screens, and I love the way he's adapted his game. He's realized he doesn't have shots all around the wicket like, say, a Virat Kohli, but this is Shikhar Dhawan in ICC tournaments. He raises his game in the big matches, 1,046 runs in the big stage.
Yeah, I love the way he's played. He's been magnificent in all ICC tournaments. Also got magnificent numbers in England as well, which is obviously very important for today's game. But the thing that I love that he's done really well is he hasn't changed his approach. He gives himself a chance. He gets in against the new ball. He gets used to the pace, used to any movement. And once he gets in, he normally he's around that sort of 30 or 50 balls. But then he just kicks into another gear and he's in terrific form, and it's really important from India's point of view. Part of the reason they've been so successful in this tournament is because of the way that he's played. He's taken the pressure off the other batsmen and just allowed them to come in and take their time as well. So it's really important that he steps up again today, gets them off to a good start and allows that middle order to come in and take the game away from Bangladesh.
The good news for India is that Rohit Sharma, Shikhar Dhawan and Virat Kohli, between them have 609 runs so far. But we're setting this up as the battle of the left-handers, because we're also now going to see how India have been dependent on Shikhar to give them that great start. We've also seen Bangladesh heavily reliant on Tamim Iqbal, and we're going to see his numbers on our screens. Really important for them that he gets going, especially in these conditions. Now this is Tamim Iqbal against all opposition in 2017. He's got 553 runs so far in 2017 only. When you look at the other numbers which are going to come up on your screens, it's his record against India, which is not that impressive. But in Bangladesh wins against India, he's got 350s in 4 wins.
Yeah, he's a crucial, obviously, member of their side today, especially. The good news from Bangladesh's point of view, he's got them off to a great start. When he's done well, they've really challenged opposition, and more often than not, they've won. But the good news about this guy, if he gets a great start, brilliant. If he doesn't, they've still shown they've got the batsmen in the middle order to win games, even chasing quite big totals, as they did against New Zealand. But he failed in the last game, so he'll be very keen. He's in very good form. He'll be very keen to get them off to a great start.
And especially in the conditions that we are seeing, the Indian new ball bowlers, the economy rate in that power play is 4.33. It's the best across all teams playing this tournament. So Tamim has his task cut out, because not only has to be there, but he's got to ensure that the runs are coming, because at the other end, as you said, there's no support.
Yeah, well, he's been a very big player in this tournament, and the Indian attack, especially opening up in that first 10 overs, have been so accurate and so difficult to score off. Tamin's a very aggressive player, so I think once he gets in, once he gets to used to the pace. We'll see him advance down the wicket, look to hit over the top, and if he gets going, that could be trouble for the Indian openers in that top 10. And I'm sure Bangladesh will try and create a strike rate, and if Taman gets in, look out.
But while Bangladesh have Tamim, they have Shakib and Mahmudullah, the lower middle order who have performed, India haven't had that that batting challenge in that sense. And this question was asked to Virat Kohli in the pre-match press conference about the lack of matched batting time for that lower middle order. Listen in.
In the practice games, everyone's got a hit. And we know Kedar and Hardik are playing really well at the moment, so we're not bothered at all. Rather, they're looking for an opportunity. If the team is in a bit of trouble, I'm sure those two guys are going to step up and take the team through, along with Jaddu and Ash as well. So those guys are actually waiting for opportunities, you know, and that's a great mindset to have. They're not sitting comfortable thinking, oh, these guys are going to do the job. They're actually prepared, you know, if a crisis situation comes in, we want to be the match winners, and that's the energy they're creating.
Okay, so he's talking about the fact that, you know, both Hardik Pandya and Kedar Jadhav can be relied upon. So we're going to touch on that in our next segment. This is the key battles which Chris Harris always picks for up. He's got this accuracy with it. So let's bring the first one on our screens. This is when India are batting. This is Rohit Sharma versus Mustafizur Rahman. You know, he's bothered India in the past, but Rohit Sharma has one bad game in the last one. So he'll be, this is the kind of attack which he loves. He doesn't need to go out there at the top and hit through.
Yeah, Sharma's obviously been in terrific form as well. As you rightly pointed out, he failed in the last game, so he'll be desperately keen to rectify that. Now, the fizz for me has been a little bit disappointing in this tournament because he was magnificent in the World Cup in 2015, and he hasn't really hit his strap since then. I think there's been a few injury concerns, so it's really important that he gets back to that form that he had back then when he was magnificent, and in the T20 World Cup as well, he was tremendous. So he's got to use his variation of pace, and I think against someone like Sharma, if he gets his length right and goes across him on a good length, that will give him an opportunity to get a caught behind, because we know how Sharma likes to get on the front foot, likes to free his hands, doesn't necessarily get his front foot to the ball, so there's an opportunity there where Bangladesh can nick him off. But if they don't nick him off, watch out, because he's in terrific form and he will hurt you.
Okay, let's look at the next one rather quickly. This is the one which has been discussed in detail. Shikhar Dhawan against the old warhorse Mashrafe Mortaza.
Well, Shikhar Dhawan, obviously the form player of the tournament, the form batsman, absolute key for India that he gets off to, he continues that form and gets off to another great start. And Mortaza obviously will be opening the bowling, so these two will come up against each other early on. And I know Mortaza, it'll give Bangladesh a huge lift if he can get Shikhar Dhawan out early, because they will see him as the absolute key wicket in this innings.
But what about the other battle within the battle? Now, Virat Kohli and Rubel Hussain have a bit of a thing going on. Even in the 2008, when India won the Under-19 World Cup, they had a bit of an issue during the World Cup as well. This is going to be key as well, because you know once Virat Kohli gets in, he can destroy the game.
Yeah, had to pick this battle because, as you said, it's been a long-serving feud, if you like, and it went back to the Under-19 World Cup. They had words in the 2015 World Cup as well, so this was a battle that we had to put together. Rubel's got that little bit of extra pace, bowls a good length. We saw Kohli's one failure nicking out to another medium pacer, so that, again, a key battle. We know how good Kohli is in that big match. He's a big match player. He's a fantastic player, so another key wicket for Bangladesh. If they don't get him early, he's going to make them pay.
Let's look at how the Bangladesh batsmen should square up against the Indian bowlers. And the first one you've picked is going to be Bhuvneshwar Kumar versus Tamim Iqbal. Bhuvneshwar Kumar, very accurate at the beginning.
Yeah, well, Tamim, very much like Shikhar Dhawan, the absolute key at the top of the order for Bangladesh. And for me, Kumar's been the pick of the bowlers, especially inside that first 10. Once Tamim gets in, if he gets the opportunity to get in, he will go after these bowlers. But for me, Kumar's so accurate, he's very, very difficult guy to get to. So this will be a really interesting battle to see who comes out on top.
Okay, very quickly, let's take the next two, because this is the spinners. And you're very happy that Ravi Ashwin was playing, and India seem to have that depth now. He's against another old warhorse, Shakib Al Hasan, especially those middle overs. And you also picked Ravindra Jadeja against the other warhorse, Mushfiqur Rahim. Set this up for us.
Yeah, well, Ashwin, I'm so pleased that he's playing because he adds a little bit of variety for India in that middle order. Obviously, Shakib Al Hasan, very important player. Being a left-hander, very difficult against Ashwin. That's why that battle had to come up. And I think Rahim is a very important player for Bangladesh in that middle order. Didn't do anything against New Zealand, so he's due to fire as well. And with the left armour of Jadeja going away from the right-hander, I think that's going to create some problems. He is a good player of spin, so this is another battle that I'm really looking forward to today.
Okay, so those are the battles Chris Harris has picked, and those are the battles he thinks could influence this game. We're going to slip into a short break right now. When we come back, we're going to talk about the milestone man, Yuvraj Singh.